Everyone, and good Monday evening to you. It is Weather for Weather Geeks time as we kick off a new work week, and it's a new weather pattern this week after a very summer-like weekend, especially on Sunday when we made it into the lower 80s and we had some thunderstorms around late in the afternoon into the evening. Today, autumn returned with a vengeance. It was a pretty gloomy-looking day until late in the afternoon. This is a time-lapse from our Canfield Fairgrounds camera showing the deck of stratocumulus clouds that we had for much of the day today. This is the kind of scene we see oftentimes in the cool weather season around northeast Ohio and northwest PA, but some drier air did start to win the battle pretty late in the day, leading to a very nice sunset across the valley this evening. But those storms late in the afternoon into the early evening hours on Sunday, they meant some business in some spots. This went pretty much as advertised. The timing was pretty good as far as the forecast goes. The impact's pretty good as well. We had a scattering of wind damage, some trees down. We had some hail in parts of the area, especially large hailstones in Mercer County for a time in the mid to late afternoon hours on Sunday. Trumbull County got away pretty much unscathed, and a lot of the activity was kind of in this zone through here. The National Weather Service office in Pittsburgh did survey a few areas just outside of our viewing area, northwest PA, including around Barkeyville, just east of the Mercer-Venango line, and they did not find tornado damage, even though we did have a tornado warning for a little while in the 6 o'clock hour last evening in extreme eastern parts of Mercer County. The wind damage was found to be straight-line wind damage and not tornado damage. Wow, what a story this is turning out to be and will be for the next few days, of course. This is Hurricane Milton, which underwent some incredible strengthening at a very rapid pace earlier on today, going from a Category 1 to a Category 5 very, very quickly. This thing is a buzzsaw. That is a textbook Category 5 satellite presentation with Milton. Now, this is the Gulf of Mexico, of course, and this is the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Cancun's over here. This is going to just barely brush by the Yucatan Peninsula, mostly staying over the open waters, and so I would expect Milton to try to maintain this Category 5 strength for the overnight and perhaps into parts of tomorrow as well. There'll be an eye replacement cycle at some point, and it's unlikely at this point that this makes landfall in Florida as a Cat 5. But one of the parallels you can draw to something like this is Hurricane Katrina back in 2005. Of course, tremendous devastation in New Orleans. It made landfall as a Category 3, even though Katrina, at points in its lifespan in the Gulf of Mexico, was a Category 5. It did not make landfall as a Category 5. And Milton, it's kind of a similar idea here in that, yes, it'll be only, quote-unquote, a Category 3 probably at landfall Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. But there's so much momentum with this thing pushing water towards Florida that the category and the wind speeds at landfall are not as important as the overall likely impacts, and it'll be all about the storm surge. This could be a truly historic storm surge for the west coast of Florida, especially around Tampa Bay, an especially prone area to storm surge with the water coming into that bay and having nowhere to go, with a track of a system coming at the coast like this that's going to draw a bunch of water into areas like that. Now, the northern end of the circulation will be up here, and that'll be more of an offshore flow. But where the flow is onshore, from Fort Myers to Tampa, somewhere in there, there's going to be a landfall Wednesday night, and it'll be a big, big story. The tropics were pretty quiet for a while, but they have ramped up, of course, of late. We had Helene, which was a big problem in recent memory, and now we're up to Milton, about halfway through the alphabet. The next named storm in the Atlantic will be Nadine, followed by Oscar, Patty, Raphael, Sarah, Tara, Valerie, and William. Hopefully we don't have to go to the Greek alphabet, which is what happens when we run out of names in a hurricane season. We've had that happen back in 2005, speaking of that very unfortunate year in the Atlantic Basin with Katrina and just an unbelievable amount of tropical systems. Anyway, back here at home, things are going to be quiet for the next few days. A couple of disturbances coming down in the northwest flow. Won't bring us any rain here locally. Some showers up towards the Finger Lakes, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, but not around here. We'll call it partly to mostly sunny for the next few days. We're in good shape, it looks like, through the end of the work week and into the start of the weekend. But one thing we'll be watching, the temperature trends for the overnight hours for a couple of nights. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and again Thursday night into Friday morning. I don't think we're going to see a hard freeze. But I could see where Thursday morning, and maybe especially Friday morning, we try to hit 34 to 37 in some of the colder, sheltered locations. Here's a look at some modeled temperatures, and this doesn't catch the nuance of, sheltered valleys in between these sites, where, I'm going to be, not surprised at all if people's personal weather stations or even their car thermometers Thursday morning and Friday morning read somewhere in the mid-30s, and that introduces the possibility of some patches of frost. I don't think it's a widespread heavy frost. I don't think it's a killing freeze. It's still too early for that. But could someone have some frost on a windshield or on their roof later on this week? Yes. The chances of a freeze, very minimal, if not zero here locally, but I think especially Friday morning, there's increasing chances of at least patches of 32-degree readings in some of the higher terrain in the mountainous areas in West Virginia, heading up into the Allegheny Front area of Pennsylvania, around Altoona, Johnstown, maybe up towards Du Bois and Clearfield as well. Again, the odds of it being 32 or lower aren't great, but they are elevated somewhat a couple of hours to our east, it looks like, later on this week. After that, we'll get a warm-up for Friday afternoon. Should be a great afternoon Friday. The weekend looks mild. Temperatures near 70 both Saturday and Sunday, but the next front is the strongest one yet this season. It'll arrive sometime Sunday into Sunday night and Monday morning. Look at that forecast for next Monday, a high of 54. We're going to spend a couple of days, it looks like, early next week, with highs only in the middle 50s. Hey, it's getting to be, mid-October, early next week. This sort of thing is bound to happen. That'll do it for me on Weather for Weather Geeks on this Monday evening. Have a great rest of your evening. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you right back here on Tuesday.